Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, my name is Shannon. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today's video is gonna be an Anastasia brand overview. So periodically I have been sort of overviewing different brands that I have multiple products from and just letting you know overall how I feel about the products within the line and if I think they're worth your money. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. Without further ado, let's dive right in because I think this is gonna be another long one. All right, so the first thing I want to start with is their brushes. There are no brow brushes, in my opinion, better than Anastasia brow brushes. The two that I use every single day of my life are these two brushes here. This is the number 12 brush. I like this one for my powdered brow products, and then I use the 7B for my pomades and my creams. There's just something about their brushes, you guys. They are super precise, super like angled just appropriately to give me the perfect brows. I have tried so many different brow brushes and I don't care what anyone says. These brushes are worth every single penny. They're my prized possessions when it comes to brows. I cannot do my brows without these. And then I also have their A23 highlight brush. I just recently picked this up because of a palette that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. I was finding it a little difficult to work with, and I thought maybe if I used their brush with the palette, I would have better results, and I did. After that, I started using this on other highlighters in my collection, and I do find that there's something about this brush that's worth all of the hype. It does make a difference in the way that it lays down and blends out highlight, and I know it's 25 bucks. I don't care. I would pay 25 bucks all over again. They just make really, really amazing brushes. Every single one I've tried out so far has become a holy grail brush for me. I have two of their like cream contour sticks, or I guess one's not a contour. This one is like for brightening. This is in the shade Banana. I love these for travel. I think they are so convenient rather than bringing that whole palette. And I love the shade Fawn. It is my favorite color out of my cream contour kit. So that's what they look like swatched out. A lot of people feel as though this formula, and I guess I could just show you their cream contour kit as well. I love this so much that I have a backup. Like, I love this formula so much. It is very controversial though. I should have added this. I don't know if this video is going to go up before or after my items I've hit pan on, but this should have been in there because I have, as you can see, hit pan on this and I forgot to add it. But that is how much I love this. I use it every single time I cream contour. For me, there's no reason to have any other cream contours in my collection because I've tried several of them and I just don't like them the way that I like this formula. Now, back to being controversial. Some people will say that this formula is far too dry. For me personally, I do feel as though this is a drier formula, especially compared to every other cream product that I've tried for this purpose. I mean, they're right when they say it is a dry formula. However, that just works for me. For some reason, this just works for me. Anytime I use any other cream product, I find that it just disappears throughout the day. It's like it never happened. These wear all day for me. They never budge. They never move. It's like they set down and they stay in place, and I love that about it. Now, the cream sort of highlight here, I don't love this under my eyes because it is so dry and it will tend to make my under eyes look dry. So the banana shade's not my favorite. I don't really reach into these very often, but that fawn shade and these contour shades are my absolute favorite. All right, so for brow products, I have my brow powder duo in dark brown. I use this every single time I do my brows. It is one of my all-time favorite things that I use on the daily that just never leaves my Shop My Stash rotation. I cannot live without this brow powder. I'm sure I could. It's just powder. But the shade itself is just perfect. And then this is what I have left of my pomade. As you can see, it's looking pretty rough. It's starting to dry out again. I've already sort of added oil to this once because it kind of started to dry out. It's probably time for a new one, but it's like, I still have product. Like, I'm determined to finish this. So this pomade is my go-to in the summer months down here when it's super hot, when a pencil just will not last on my skin. This is the only thing that literally wears on my skin all day long down here in the summer, aside from Wonder Brow. However, Wonder Brow is extremely pricey for the amount of product that you get, so I would just rather use the pomade. You get a ton of product, it lasts forever, and it just does the job. Okay, so I have one of their liquid glows. This is in the shade Perla. These are ultra reflective, you guys. I mean, when I say they're intense, they are so intense. Now, for me personally, I just don't care for liquid highlights on my face. They just disturb my foundation, and I don't know. I've never been able to make them work on my face. However, on the body, yes, a million times over, yes. I love this on my collarbones, on my shoulders, especially in the summer when I really want to glow and I'm wearing something that calls for glowy collarbones and shoulders. I will reach for this and it just looks so stunning. This is also really beautiful applied down the center of your legs. It's just going to make your legs look longer, slimmer. And what I love about this is there's no glitter in it. There is absolutely zero glitter in this formula, and it just looks beautiful. It just looks like super dewy, radiant skin. So while I don't like it on my face, I do like it for my body. Okay, moving into their sort of square compacts. Number one, I think this packaging is beautiful. I think Anastasia overall just kills it with packaging. So this is one of their bronzers. This is in the shade Rich Amber. I thought this was gonna be far too dark for me. Turns out it's absolutely beautiful on my skin. These are very pigmented, but also very blendable in my opinion. They remind me of typical Anastasia powder formula, so you will experience some kick up. It's very soft powder, but they blend beautifully. They're very pigmented. A little goes a long way, and they're just so soft to the touch. I absolutely adore this shade, which I did receive this in gratis. I didn't think that I was gonna like this color, but it's actually, when I am tan, it is really, really, really beautiful. I just kind of put it on top of that cream, so. All right, next is Anastasia Reesie Highlight. So when I first got this, you guys, to be quite honest with you, I did not understand it. I kind of felt as though it was a bit glittery. I did experience some chunky sort of fallout with this when I first got it, but it was almost like it was just that top layer, because now that I've worked through this a little bit, this is one of the most beautiful highlights in my collection. Again, I'm just kind of putting it over that cream or that liquid glow. Oh my God, you guys. What I love about this is it works on so many different skin tones. It's just the perfect champagne-y gold. It just works for so many people. And if you can get through that original top layer, I promise you, you are gonna love this compact. The packaging is stunning. It just looks beautiful. It's just one of those things that brings me joy every time I look at it. Next up, I have one of their blush trios. I actually have two of them. This one here is in the shade Cocktail Party. This one I don't use as often as I do the other, but these blushes are so beautiful, you guys. This formula is so beautiful. My only downfall is, like, I could totally do without this shade here. I get that this is probably meant for a deeper complexion, but then again, I'm also confused by that because this is such a light shade. I would feel that this might look ashy on a deeper complexion. So I feel like this is kind of the odd man out. I could do without this shade, and I would much prefer these be duos than trios because it is a little bit difficult to get your brush in the individual shade. However, these powders are so stunning. I think they're worth every bit of the price point, and this is in the shade Pink Passion. This is my favorite. I know everybody was raving about Peachy Love. I never ended up picking up Peachy Love. I already have a ton of peachy blushes, but these colors are pretty unique to my collection and they are absolutely stunning. This is probably one of my favorite blushes in my entire collection. One of the ones that I reach for the most. I can use all three of these shades and they all look beautiful in their own way. There's just something about these that if you have not tried them, I think you should definitely try them out. I think you would be impressed. They're really, really beautiful, you guys. All right, so next I have a couple of their bullet lipsticks. I think I have one more somewhere, but I can't seem to locate it at this time. So the two colors I have is Spice and Dusty Mauve. I personally like the Anastasia bullet lipstick formula. However, I know a lot of people do not. They are dry, but they're not as dry as some other lipsticks I've tried. But they are pretty dry. The thing about Anastasia lipsticks, the thing that gets me the most, you guys, is their shade range. They have some very unique shades that you just don't find a ton. NYX might have the closest dupable thing in my opinion, but realistically, I mean, these shades are stunning. Dose of Colors would be another one to look into if you don't like this formula, but you want a shade range like this, because they have a pretty unique shade range too. But this is Dusty Mauve, this is Spice. I love them both for different reasons. I love that I have a more cool toned option and I have a warm toned option. It just depends on the look that I'm wearing that day, but I don't know. I like these lipsticks. I find them to be pretty long wearing considering they're bullet lipsticks. I mean, I know they're a matte formula, but they do wear for an incredible amount of time. And I find that when I go to touch up my lipstick as needed, it doesn't get weird. And you guys know what I mean by that. So anyways, I just think these shades are stunning and I love them. I have several of their liquid lipsticks. So I almost feel like I'm missing one of these too somewhere. So these are all of the different shades that I have in their liquid lipsticks. This is the shade Hudson. This is one of my favorites. This is just one of those shades that, I don't know, you guys, I just love this color so much. So I'm just gonna do tiny little swatches. So that's Hudson. This is Bittersweet. These do dry down a bit darker, but that's pretty typical of most liquid lipsticks. So that is Bittersweet. I love that in like the fall. This one is in the shade Dazed. Oh, this is such a beautiful color. My God. Yeah, I'm definitely missing one of these, I think. Dazed. This is the shade Grim. I love this. This is such a unique color. Kind of like a purpley taupey gray. Oh, so beautiful. And then Seraphine, which is one of my favorite reds in my entire collection. Oh, this red is so beautiful. So those are swatches of all of the liquid lipsticks in my collection. Now, you guys, these are super, super dry. They just are. My suggestion would be to put a balm underneath. In fact, my favorite balm to put under most of my lipsticks is this one from Baby Lips and Maybelline. It's the Dr. Rescue one. This is very, very like glossy, but I find this to be very, very hydrating. See that sheen there? It's very glossy. So putting that underneath something like this is really going to help with the dryness and just overall look of the liquid lipstick when it dries down. So anyways, I love the shade range. That is, to me, what is so unique about Anastasia liquid lipsticks. And if you can get past the dryness, you will love them. I mean, they do wear for an incredible amount of time, in my opinion and in my experience. Can you get a full day's wear with eating and not touching up? No. I find that no matter what liquid lipstick I use, I have to touch it up after I eat because it gets that weird situation happening. But I don't know. I don't find these to be any drier than any other liquid lipstick. All right. And then we have the eyeshadow palettes. So, first one I ever got, Modern Renaissance. I think we all probably have this palette in our collection with good reason. Mine has actually like come out, it's like falling apart. I need to like glue it back in there. I hate this velvet packaging. I mean, I think it's cute and everything, but it's not practical. So for that reason, it just kind of, I don't know, I could do without that. I would rather honestly it be cardboard. I hate cardboard packaging. You guys know if you've been following, I hate cardboard packaging. But I would rather it be cardboard than like this felt that just gets disgusting. So anyways, this is Modern Renaissance. It is stunning. One of my favorite palettes in my collection. I love that you can do a neutral look. I love that you can make a bold look out of this. It is just so beautiful. Now, Anastasia shadows are very soft. They will produce fallout. They will produce kick up. You have to be okay with that if you are going to use them. It kind of annoys me when people are like, it's like a fallout. And well, that's just Anastasia shadows. If you don't like it, then use a different eyeshadow formula, you know? For me personally, that never really bothers me because I always do my eyes before my face. So I mean, you could always switch it up if you were going to use these palettes. So this is Subculture. I personally love Subculture. There was so much controversy around this, as you guys know. But for me personally, I adore Subculture. I adore this shade range, this color story. It just speaks to me on so many levels. This is a palette that really makes me feel creative. It really pushes me outside of my comfort zone, and while it's not an everyday palette for me, it is one that will never leave my collection because it's just so beautiful in my opinion. You do have to use Subculture in a different manner. You have to, I always say you have to treat Subculture like a lady. Like you just have to be delicate with it. You have to use small amounts of product at a time. But if you do that, you can create some really beautiful, amazing looks with this palette. And another thing I love about the eyeshadow palettes from Anastasia is I find them to be very interchangeable. They just all work well with one another. So anyways, next up, Soft Glam. I should say I did purchase the Prism palette and I did declutter that one. It just was kind of a miss for me, and I had also picked up the Kat Von D Saint and Sinner palette at that same time. For me, I held on to the Saint and Sinner palette. I found them to be pretty similar in terms of color story, and I felt like the Kat Von D palette had more to offer, so I went ahead and decluttered Subculture to someone that I thought would use it more than myself. So this is Soft Glam. This is very neutral, I get it. It's kind of, you know, it's a little on the boring side, but to me, this is stunning. This is so many different looks. This is an everyday palette. I've used this so many times. I've paired this with all of the other palettes, and this is the universal palette. Like this is the palette that you could pair with any other palette in your collection. It's just stunning. They all perform beautifully, all of the shades, and it's amazing. Then the last one is Noir Vina. I went ahead and picked up Noir Vina. I plan on collecting all of these Anastasia palettes. I do sort of regret decluttering Prism for the inner collector in me, but realistically I know, you know, it's better off with someone that will use it. So this is Noir Vina. I love this color story, and that is what I have to say most about Anastasia palettes is the color stories are always incredible. They're different, they're unique. There's just something about her creative mind that makes me want to buy every single palette she comes out with. And so yeah, this is Noir Vina. I know this one was kind of like hit or miss, but for me personally, I really enjoy this palette. I think it's beautiful, and I've created some really beautiful looks with it. So I love this Soul shade, and I love this Love shade. I think they're beautiful and unique, pretty unique to my collection. I don't have anything like Soul. Love I could probably do, but not Soul. So overall, I think the eyeshadow palettes are definitely worth it. I think you just have to go in knowing that her formula is what it is. You are gonna have to take it easy. You're not gonna be able to go swirling your brush in there. It's just the way it is. And so instead of bashing the palettes or being upset about the formula, just know that it is what it is. And if you don't like that sort of powdery formula, there's a million other options out there for you that would make you happy, you know? So for me, I love Anastasia's formula. I think they're incredible. All right, next up I have this blush kit. This came out around the holidays, I think, last year. Beautiful formula. I don't know why they discontinued these so quickly because these perform beautifully. They do all sort of have a little bit of a shimmer to them. There's little glitters in there, but it doesn't come up that way on the skin. They're really, really beautiful and they perform really, really beautifully. If I had to choose between this or the trios, I'd probably choose the trios, and maybe that's why they discontinued these, is because the trio, they had those. But I love this selection of colors. This is another reason why I felt like I didn't need Peachy Love, because these are sort of peachy. And one thing I will say about Anastasia blushes is a little goes a long way, but that's pretty typical of all of her powdered products. Next up is the contour kit. I love this. Some people say they have a hard time blending, but this is the OG contour palette. I would say this was probably one of the first ones that came out when this all became a trend. I love this. I know it doesn't look like I've touched it, but I have. I've used quite a bit. I've used this quite a bit. I just like lost my train of thought. I've used this palette quite a bit and I thoroughly enjoy it. I love that the pans pop out. The only thing I wish it had is a mirror. But overall, I think these shades are stunning. I can get all of them to work for me at different points of the year. And yeah, I mean, I still highly recommend this. I know you can find them a lot at TJ Maxx now, so maybe check out TJ Maxx if you're interested. I'm not sure why they're at TJ Maxx. Maybe they are reformulating or repackaging, but regardless, it's a great place to pick it up. The next one is the Anastasia Aurora Glow Kit. Have I been saying Anastasia for every product? If I have, I'm so sorry, you guys. It's just habit. So this is the Aurora Glow Kit. This, when I bought this, it was kind of like one of those things where I'm like, do I really need this? Am I going to use it? I use this a ton. I use this far more than I ever thought I would. I love these duochromes and I think they're beautiful. With the right look, they're beautiful. I love that it can take, you know, a basic neutral eye look and you can slam on one of these interesting duochromes and make it look totally unexpected, you know? So yeah, I use this far more than I ever thought I would. I really enjoy that palette personally. Next up is the newest one. This is the Dream Glow Kit. This is probably my least favorite of all of them. I'm hoping that once I get through the top layer, I will like it more, because right now I feel as though these are a little bit too chunky in terms of like the glitter production. However, Ethereal, I've probably used the most out of this palette, and I've noticed that it's becoming more creamy, more blendable, and less glittery as I use it. So I'm hoping the rest will follow suit. You guys will have to let me know if you're experiencing the same thing. But this palette is essentially why I picked up the A23. I do think this brush makes a difference when using this palette personally, and while it's a little bit difficult to look with, these really are beautiful. I don't regret buying it. I just kind of have to work with it a little bit differently than some of the other glow kits in my collection. But they are unique shades and they are really beautiful. Once you get them applied and sort of buffed into the skin, they really are beautiful. Next up is the Sugar Glow Kit. This is probably my second favorite glow kit. This is beautiful. These are stunning. None of them have any sort of glitter. They're ultra reflective. I can use every single shade out of this palette and create a look. I love that peachy sort of gold duochrome. All of these are beautiful in their own way, and I'm so glad I picked this up. I was sort of on the fence about it because I was kind of like, do I really need this? But I use it quite a bit, so I am glad that I picked it up. Sorry, guys. My stack just kind of knocked over, and there's my fan. I kicked off my fan for this one because I listened to one of my videos, like the playback, and it was super obnoxious. I didn't want you to have to deal with that through another video, but I will say I am dying, literally sweating to death. Last is the Sun Dipped Glow Kit. Now this one is probably the only one that I sort of regret buying, and the reason I say that is because two out of the 4 shades I never really use. I think Bronzed I've only swatched. It's just I could never use that as a highlight, and I'm not really one to use a bronzer like topper, and I'm not really one to use a blush topper. So these two I could definitely do without. I've thought about like combining and mixing and matching, but I am a collector, so I kind of like to keep the packaging original. But these 2 shades are beautiful, Summer and Moonstone. I do use them and I think they're beautiful. I just think for the money and how many shades I can use, I probably wouldn't repurchase this, especially now that I have the Sugar Glow Kit. There's just really no reason. But anyways, you guys, those are all of my Anastasia products in my collection. I hope you found this interesting or helpful. If you have any questions on any of this stuff, you know the drill. Just ask down below. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. You know that drill too. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.